Massive Zanzi, welcome back. This is your feel-good breakfast show, and if you're feeling cold, don't worry, we're going to warm you up. Great conversation, entertainment, and everything is happening right now.
Sure.
And speaking of, let's dive into it, because winter is quickly approaching, and while we don't know exactly what the weather will do, we can be sure that it will be a time when many people are affected by colds and flu. You're probably going through it right now.
Yep.
One person in the family becomes sick, and then the symptoms may quickly spread to everybody else. But what can we do to nip it in the bud? Now we have Chris Brassel from ADCOCK INGRAM OTC with some absolutely helpful tips for all of us. Yes, please.
I never thought I'd get this excited about colds and flu season.
Yeah.
But I think you do as well, because you know how easy it is, accessible to help people if we just connect the dots and we have the right information, the tools to use. Let's start with prevention is better than the cure, because I would imagine you must have these moments as people come through your doors, as you have these conversations, you think if you had just done this, we'd be okay. So that being said, how do we best protect ourselves, bolster up our defenses going into winter?
It is quite hard, Graham, because colds and flus are caused by viruses. So they're airborne, they're easily transferred. So it is quite hard to prevent it, but you know, there are things you can do to minimize it. But if you think of where these viruses come from, I know you have small children, they go to creche, whatever, they play with each other, they put their fingers in their mouth, they touch a toy, and that germ is so easily transferred. All they have to do is have a slight runny nose, and then this germs can be transferred.
Tick, tick, boom. Yeah.
Absolutely.
He tells us every morning when he comes there, he's like a ninja having to defend all these illnesses.
And I come home in a hazmat suit now, just, you know, but it gets real so quickly.
It does. When it does get real, sorry, and we do have a cold or a flu, are there ways that we can possibly, or there are options to deal with this without necessarily going all the way to a doctor, arranging an appointment, and all those necessary steps?
They definitely are. I think if you, as I said, the way they are transferred, the things you can do before you even have to go and treat them, you can try and minimize your risk of contracting these colds and flu. And it's very simple. It's like washing your hands regularly.
For sure.
Gosh, I thought you were going to say he mustn't spend time with his kids.
Yeah.
But that's a way better.
I think that's building my immune system up. I think I'm going to have like a superhero immune system as a result.
We never even got to the part of where adults also can be the ones that bring the germs into the home.
Okay.
Think about in the workplace. You have communal coffee stations, you have printers that everybody uses, and these germs are so easily transferred.
You're having a bite of a chocolate cake that's close to Stan's face. These things can happen.
It could be your mouth is open
real.
so wide to absorb the chocolate cake. But, yeah.
Plausible, I guess.
There are a number of steps that we can take to mitigate the effects of the cold and flu symptoms. When it comes to OTC, that is our first step, and why we have such a close relationship with our pharmacists. How do we approach this battlefront when it comes to over-the-counter?
Okay. I think it really is important to acknowledge that your pharmacist should be your first point of call. And the beauty of that is because your pharmacist is always there. They work long hours. You don't need an appointment. You don't need a medical aid.
And you don't pay for a consult.
Absolutely. You can go in, talk to a pharmacist, explain your symptoms, and he will give you the best advice and the correct medicine to treat the symptoms that you're experiencing. The other benefit, of course, is that you can also talk to the pharmacist. And if it's not only your children who are sick, it's the whole family. He can possibly recommend a product that you can buy that can be used by the children and by the adults.
Yes.
And in these tough financial times, I think that's very, very important to consider.
I've seen a 4-in-1 product.
Oh, really?
You
Wow.
know,
So
it's there, yeah.
long and the short is we've got options, right? And we don't have to stress about this and further exaggerate some of these symptoms. And we have options to take in order to prevent these, right? Do you know any of these options that could help us in needing time?
Absolutely. ADCOCK INGRAM OTC has a range of products to treat all the symptoms associated with colds and flu. Generally, your first sign of a cold or flu would be a tickly, scratchy or sore throat. So we have a range called Medikil A, and it's available in lozenges and a throat spray. It's a Schedule 1 product, meaning you just go in, go to your OTC, over-the-counter medicine, talk to the pharmacist there, and they can recommend that product. You don't need a doctor's script for it. The other symptoms that are quite common is that you'll find you're congested, you have pain and fever. We have a 3-in-1 product, Carenza Para-C.
Yeah.
Those ingredients all work together to treat those symptoms, so you don't have to take 3 different products to treat those symptoms. And of course, the one symptom that tends to last long after the other symptoms have disappeared the cough.
Yeah, the scratchy,
cough.
tickly, coffee throat. Oh.
Well, there's different types of cough, Graham, so it's very important that you do consult your pharmacist and describe the type of cough you have, because different things cause us to cough, so you need different products to treat that type of cough. So your pharmacist is a vital person in your journey. As we said, you don't need a consultation, you don't need a medical aid, you can go there, they're always available, and they do give you the best advice. I would just like to add though, if you have a compromised health status, if you have severe symptoms, or if your symptoms don't improve, you do need to consult a doctor.
Well, what I'm taking
love
away
that,
from this the
yeah.
most is that we've got options when it comes to great medication, and we should always utilize the open arms service of our pharmacists, because they really truly are there to help us.
And they're throughout the community. Across South Africa, they're always there. They're our frontline heroes. They're there every day for everybody, and they play a great role in our country.
We saw it in the floods during KZN. We've seen it throughout the period of COVID when everyone else shut down. My only point of contact was Ian. And Ian, I'm not cheating on you now, okay? It's a once-off, okay? I'm coming back to your pharmacy, I promise you, man. But we absolutely love you guys. And we love keeping people healthy during these tough times. So we've got a nice little added bonus
Yeah,
for the
listen
people.
to this, man. You stand a chance, Mzansi, to win the following. It is 3 cash prizes
Nice.
of 3,000 Rand. And it's happening this week with ADCOCK INGRAM OTC. Now, simply reply to the competition post on the Expresso social pages and tell us how you protect your family from exposure to colds and flu this winter. Now, don't forget to include the hashtag ADCOCK OTC winter. And the competition closes Monday, the 27th of May. Your T's and C's can be found at expressoshow.com. Oh, we've got every reason to get involved in this one, man.
And a hazmat suit is not an answer, okay? It's not an answer.